Hello guys, it's Louis here from the German Duel Masters channel, and welcome back to another deck profile. Today I want to show you my Rebirth Control deck, which I played in the last IDC tournament and managed to reach third place. And yeah, this deck profile is could be very long because we have a lot of different versions I played over the past 2-3 years now. Testing a lot of different targets for this spell, and yeah, so there will be a lot of different versions I want to show you, and up to the actual version I played in the IDC. And before we go into the deck profiles, I want to talk about the keycard of the deck. It's Miraculous Rebirth. It's one of the 5 miraculous spells in DM11. It costs 6 mana and fire and nature, so multi-civilization card. And yeah, the effect is very simple. You destroy one of your opponent's creatures that is power 5k or less. And when your opponent puts that creature in his graveyard, search your deck, take a creature from your deck that has the same cost as that creature and put in a battle zone. After that, of course, shuffle your deck. So the idea is to kill an enemy creature and summon one of your own creatures straight from your deck. This card is very good and has a huge impact if you summon another creature with a come into play effect. For example, a small draw like Hulkus or Macris. Or you can bounce a creature like you can summon with a Coral, and or you can bring a Sky Sword out from your deck, get another shield, another mana. So there are a lot of options playing Rebirth, and the targets are yeah, there are a lot of different targets you can play with this color. The only downside of this card is that you can't use the effect, the second effect, if you want to kill a creature with destruction substitution like a Mighty Shouter, because the creature has to go into the graveyard from your opponent, and Mighty Shouter, for example, goes into the mana zone. So actually you can kill this creature, but you can't search for for a 3-drop here if you killed Mighty Shouter, because yeah, it goes to his mana zone, not to the graveyard. So yeah, that's the only downside of this card, but I think there are a lot of good parts of this card, and I really like this card. It's maybe one of my favorite cards in the TCG. So yeah, let's go into the first version I played about 3 years ago now. It's a 3-colored, kind of like Acro mid-range deck here. We're playing 45 cards, 15 light cards, 12 fire cards, and 10 nature cards, without, of course, multi-civilization cards here. So only mono-colored cards are counted. As you can see on the top left, we have 4 Crimson Hammer. The only reason I played this card back then is to get rid of early swap targets, for example, Ronsam Tribe and yeah, Essence Elf, Poisonous Mushroom. So small creatures which I used as a swap target to get out bigger creatures in the next turn. But playing 4 copies of this card wasn't the best idea here. That's the only version of my Rebirth decks playing Crimson Hammer. Even Phantom Dragon's Flame would be the better option here, but yeah. As you can see, 4 Soul Gala, 3 Pala Olesis as Guardians as blocker, so early defense here. They are also not the best Rebirth targets, but they are good because Soul Gala can attack on the Pala Olesis, can protect your late game creatures you get out with the Rebirth. And yeah, I decided in the early game, the early versions here to play more Guardians here, because they are very strong in my opinion. You have a lot of different options playing Guardians, because for example, we have Mistreas as a 5-drop, we have Faliga as a 5-drop, we have Phobos as a 6-drop. Those are the most playable Guardians in my opinion. And yeah, 5 mana is the most common to play effect, because there are a lot of different cards you can use. So I decided to play Guardians, which made this deck kind of like mid-rangey here. And yeah, so another 3-drop, we have Bronzesome Tribe, only playing 3 copies. It's the only version, I think, playing only 3 Bronzesome Tribe. But in the next versions, I played 4 copies, because you want to play as soon and as often as you can Miraculous Rebirth. And yeah, only 3 Bronzesome Tribe are not enough, so maxing this out is definitely a better way. 1 Pyrofighter Magnus. I like this combination here because you can kill a 3-drop, for example Aqua Hulkus or Bronzesome Tribe from your opponent, get out Magnus and kill maybe another tapped creature, or even go for a shield. And yeah, you can see Magnus in later versions again, because the combination is very good in my opinion. Next we have 3 Soul Swaps. Sometimes I'm playing 2, here we're playing 3, and I think playing 3 is the good way here to go, because we don't play that much high cost creatures besides Berserker Zeal and Bormidius and maybe Phobos. So swap is you don't really use swap that often. So playing 2 is maybe too less, and 4 is too much, so 3 is a good way here. Now we have our really good rebirth targets. On the top we have Splice Zebrafish, Rotos, and 1 Macros. Playing Zebrafish is maybe a good idea, because it's a 4-drop. It has 3k if I remember right, and you can, or you have to take a card back from your mana zone. So if you already played or you have to play or charge maybe a Rebirth in the early game, you can get it back with Splice Zebrafish. And the downside of this card is, as you can see, it's with Coral, both are the only water creatures here in this deck. So either you swap it out with Soul Swap, or you can summon it with Rebirth. But I think both options aren't the best here, because there are definitely other options for this color combination here to get back your cards from mana, like Belix, which is played in later versions. And so yeah, Splice Zebrafish maybe isn't the best option here in this mid-rangey kind of like Rebirth deck here. And yeah, the next is Rotos. You will see Rotos, of course, in other versions too, because the idea is kill a creature, get out Rotos, kill another creature. So we'll definitely make +2 here. You get another creature on board. Kill another creature. So maybe +1, because you have to kill your own creature again. But yeah, you kill two creatures of your opponent, which is a good deal in my opinion. Next we have the only really draw here in this deck, Macros. This version is the only deck I played 1 card. In later versions I played 3 or up to 4 copies. And you can hardcast it in turn 4, so why not draw a card. And yeah, in the late game you can kill one of your opponent's 4-drops like Magris, and yeah, draw another card. So you kill a creature, you draw a card, so why not? Next we have 2 Volcano Charger. Perfect ramp in turn 4 to play in turn 5 Miraculous Rebirth. And yeah, definitely have to play 2 copies with Bronze-Armed Tribe. 2 of the best ramp cards here. The third ramp card is Skysword. Playing here only 1 copy. In the next versions I playing up to 3 copies of Skysword, because you have to use it against faster decks like Akron Rush decks. You need the shields, you need the mana as fast as possible. So playing Bronze-Armed Tribe in turn 3, charging Skysword from your deck with Bronze-Armed Tribe, and then using Soul Swap to get out Skysword, get another shield, get mana, and after that you can play Rebirth on your opponent creatures. And if your opponent already casted or played Coral or Windex or some other cards, you can use Rebirth on them. Maybe get another Skysword out, or even your own creatures, like Fal Eager to get Rebirth back. So as soon as you have enough mana, you have a lot of options. And yeah, but only 1 copy you see is a bit useless here. You have at least to play 3 or even 4 copies to have a chance against faster decks. On top of that, Ancient Horn. In theory, this combination is really nice because you can untap your whole mana and play something else. But after playing this, Ancient Horn found his way back into my binder, because if you hardcast it in turn 5, the options are very low for another 3-drop or 5-drop here. So yeah, playing it with Rebirth is nice. Hardcast it in turn 5 is very useless here. So yeah, Ancient Horn is gone after this first version here. Yeah, already mentioned, absolutely perfect Rebirth target in the deck, because you can kill one of your opponent's creatures, get out Coral, and set your opponent back 1 turn by playing Coral. Next we have 1 Photosite, so the only darkness creature here. So you only can summon him with Soul Swap or Rebirth. There's no option playing him directly or summon him, so we have to use it. I like Photosite, but I think in this deck combination it's absolutely useless, especially if you play against Coral or Surfer. This card goes back to your hand and you can't play it again. And yeah, I played this card because of Petrova or Alzonius, but yeah, I think it's not the best card here for this deck type. There are definitely other versions with other options in this video. So Photosite, even in theory, is nice, but in game it's very useless. On the other hand, we have Mistreas. In my opinion, very powerful draw card in the TCG. 5 mana, 2k power. If your opponent already played a Mistreas, you have to get rid of him as fast as possible, of course. And the best way is, of course, playing your own Rebirth, and after that your own Mistreas. So you kill Mistreas of your opponent, get your own Mistreas out. So your opponent has to get rid of your Mistreas, and you can draw if you want to. And yeah, I like this this play here because 1 copy is okay. Your opponent has to get rid of it, and if Mistreas stays in the battle zone too long, the game is definitely tending to be on your side. 2 Fal Eager, 2 Rumbling Terrorhorn. You will see this split between those two creatures in the next versions. Fal Eager, playing Fal Eager, get back your own Rebirth, play it again. Rumbling Terrorhorn, playing with Rebirth, Terrorhorn on field, search for Phobos for next turn, search for another spell. Yeah, so the options are quite nice here, playing these 3 cards here. Cryptic Totem. I thought about Cryptic Totem a long time, but you want to spam your field with creatures, and you can charge Cryptic Totem in the first turns after that, and swap it out if you're brave enough to go for some shields or even swing for game. So 1 copy of Cryptic Totem is definitely a right choice here. On the other hand, Magma Dragon Jagalzor isn't good in this deck. You don't want to be, don't want to play aggro, and this Volcano Dragon is definitely an aggro card in my opinion. So that's the only way version you will see Magma Dragon here. Of course, Phobos. I'm playing only 2 Phobos, of course. This is not a Phobos deck or even a Phobos control deck. You even might know from Darksigner. He plays his Light, Darkness, Fire, Nature Phobos control deck, which plays, of course, 4 Phobos, because you want to see Phobos as often and as soon as possible. The combination between Bronze-Arm Tribe, Soul Swap, Sky Sword, and Phobos is perfect. In this deck type, I play the other way around. I'm playing 4 Rebirth and only 2 Phobos. Yeah, like killing one of your opponent's Phobos, maybe, or even Aqua Surfer. You can get out your own Phobos, search for another spell. So the options are interesting, but the targets are very low here for 6 mana. And yeah. Yeah, of course, for Rebirth, in each version you will see 4 of them. And 2 Holy Awe is a defense. A shield trigger because we only play 3 Soul Swap and 2 Holy Awe, but yeah, I think not the best option here. In the next version we see definitely another shield trigger, which is a bit more powerful against other decks. Next we have Bolmedius, of course a strong finisher. I think I don't have to talk about this card anymore. Same for Apoc and Baza Gazil. Baza Gazil, of course, not the Rebirth target unless you kill 1 Scarlet Sky Terror of your opponent, which is quite powerful because you can get out Baza Gazil, but most time the 8-drop targets aren't that much played. Yeah, playing Baza Gazil with Soul Swap or even Hardcast in turn 8 or 7, if you already rammed a bit, are the ideas, and of course Apoc to get rid of more creatures. Yeah, though it's a first version playing Light, Fire, Nature with 1 Darkness and 2 water cards. And yeah, 45 cards. The next version, playing a bit more the Guardian path, I think. You don't see any Crimson Hammer here. I'm also playing 45 cards here. As you can see, it's very yellow here because we play a lot of light cards, a lot of Guardians here. Yeah, the Crimson Hammer are gone. They are away. Only 3 Soul Gala, 3 Soul Swap, 3 Palo Laces, 3 Bronze-Arm Tribe. Now we have 1 Colon and 1 Nariel. I tried Nariel for some time, but only 1 copy is absolutely useless in this deck because your opponent can get rid of it very fast, and yeah, it's a dead card if you want to cast it in turn 4. Yeah, so even a Crimson Hammer can kill this card. Yeah, One column is nice as a rebirth target because you can tap another creature of your opponent. But I think after that it's quite useless because if you don't have any other creatures on board, the tap effect doesn't really help you that much. And yeah, I realized after the first version that Magris is a very important card here because we need the save draw in turn 4 to see more cards. And so we are playing 3 here and 2 Mistreas. Yeah, one Serum Wave as another board clear from your opponent, testing out one Tornado Flame to get rid of fast cards like Gonta or Pyrofighter Magnus. But yeah, I think Tornado Flame isn't the best choice here. I will talk about it a bit later. Yeah, playing 3 Sky Swords, of course, we need them. Soul Swap and Bronze Tribe to have a chance against faster decks. And as you can see, it is split between Rumbling Terror and Farliga. Another good part about Rebirth is, of course, you can even play evolution creatures. And so if you can kill maybe a 5-drop from your opponent, like Coral or Mistreas or Farliga or something else, and then you can play an evolution creature, here in this deck, Glena, straight from your deck into the battle zone, and since it's an evolution creature, you can attack. So attacking another creature or go for some shields. Same for Alzonius, which costs 5 mana too. And yeah, so that's very good part about Rebirth. So I thought about taking one evolution creature here since I played a lot of other Guardians. Yeah, still playing 2 Phobos, 1 Cryptic, 2 Holy Ore, another Apoc is here, 1 Bolmedius, 1 Bazaar Seal. Tried out Natural Snare as a shield trigger to get rid of bigger creatures. And of course Burst Shot. I absolutely don't like this card. In all of my real life decks I don't play Burst Shot because I think the only good part about Burst Shot is the shield trigger ability against rush decks. But in my opinion, Serum Wave is definitely a better choice. It's cheaper. You can kill only your opponent's creatures and not your own creatures. And yeah, you can kill more creatures since Serum Wave kills up to 3k and Burst Shot only up to 2k. Yeah, the only good part about Burst Shot is the shield trigger ability. But yeah, and that's it. 2 handguards here, Arche de la Serna, because I realized back then that I need some chances against discard or control decks. So playing 2 is or was a good attempt here, but 1 is enough because we have good draw here. We have a search to search for Arche in turn 5. And yeah, we're playing here 46, 45 cards, I think, but only playing 7 mono fire cards, which is definitely too low because you want to play Rebirth definitely in turn 5 or 6. So no Volcano Charger, only 3 Bronze Tribe, only 3 Sky Swords. That's definitely one of the 2 main parts I absolutely don't like this version. The other thing is playing a lot of light cards. And the next point is, of course, as you can see, this deck is absolutely expensive. We don't have a lot of mana ramp here, only those Bronze Tribe and Sky Sword. And a lot of 5 drops, 6 drops, and then 7 and 8 drops. So this deck is really expensive, and I think yeah, we don't have to talk about this version longer, because you will lose against absolutely every other deck. Doesn't matter which tier it is, because you need a long time to reach your mana to play Rebirth, and so you get outrun by faster decks or controlled by control decks. Yeah, not the best way. In this third version, I think we're playing 46 cards. I think at this time we talked about in the German community about Rebirth a bit longer, since I was almost the only person playing Rebirth, or playing more Rebirth in a deck than only one copy. So then we realized that, or we talked about Rebirth and then thought about it, that Rebirth is more like a control-ish card, not a mid-rangey or aggro card. So I thought about making this deck a bit more control-ish. So I thought about playing more Essence Elf to playing Rebirth earlier, playing Logic Cube to search for this card. And we have Belix here, so the first version playing Belix for the early game to against fast creatures. In the late game, of course, against to get your mana zone or your shields back, your spells back from mana zone if you have to charge Rebirth in the early game. And of course, Logic Cube. Yeah, if it's in the shields and your opponent breaks it, you can search for maybe Volcano Charger to cast it next turn, or maybe Rebirth. So the idea is good behind this third version. Also playing Essence Elf here to make the spells a bit more cheaper. Only 2 soul swaps, because I thought about D-Gate here, but as you can see, there aren't that much creatures you want to search with D-Gate. So yeah, playing 3 soul swaps would be definitely the better choice here. 4 Bronze Tribe, first version playing 4 Bronze Tribe, 2 Volcano Charger, 3 Sky Swords. That's the way to go, I think. And you will see this 4-2-3 split in the next versions. Definitely the best way here for this deck type. No Macris, but we have Hyper Sprint Warrior and Rotos. Hyper Sprint Warrior may be a good target here. You want to kill maybe a Locomotive or a Macris from your opponent. Get out Hyper Sprint Warrior, have a speed attack on board. Also nice idea. Same for Rotos and Colon. I already talked about those 2 cards. We have again 2 Mysterias, 2 Farliga, 1 Rumbling Terror and 1 Magma Rex against rush decks, because it's a shield trigger. Kill all creatures with 1k or less, and so good shield trigger or even a good target for Rebirth. And of course 3 Sky Swords, 1 Searing Wave. The Holy Awe are gone. Now we're playing a Mecha Dragon's Breath and 1 more Cryptic Totem. The 2 Natural Snares still the same, and the Handguards are gone too. We have again 1 Bormidius, 1 Apoc, 1 Berserker Seal, and and 3 Juliana as more control-ish blocker here, because I decided to get back or get away from the Guardian path and decided to go more control-ish here, even without playing Darkness and Water. And so we have 2 more control-ish blocker here. because Juliana can't be targeted by any spells or abilities, so it's X-proof, which is quite good against cards like Volcanic Arrows and Windex. And yeah, so 46 cards, playing 12 light, 12 fire, and 15 nature cards without the multi-civilization cards. So the ratio is quite good, and the chances of playing Rebirth in turn 5 or 6 are, yeah, really high, I think. The next version has some small changes. Still Belix, still Juliana, Sword Swap again on 3. Bronze Tribe, Macros again, no Hypersprint Warrior, but Rotos still here. Again, 2 Volcano Charger, 3 Sky Swords, another Single Wave, again 2 Mystrias, 1 Fal, 1 Rumbling Terrorhorn. So as you can see, this lineup is still the same without the Essence Elf and the Logic Cube. And again, we have 3 Phobos. Definitely the good card, or has to be Blade card here in this deck type, because you can hardcast it, you can play it, you can, and playing with Rebirth, you want to search for your spells, or even search for APOC or Volcano Charger or Holy Ore or Natural Snare. So you can search for every spell here. And we have again Holy Ore, a Natural Snare here as more shield trigger beside Soul Swap. And yeah, the down lineup here, APOC and Berserker Seal, still the same. Again, one hand guard for control decks or against control decks, because we have a lot of draw. We have search here in form of Terrorhorn, and yeah, so I like this version, but against control decks, I had a hard time because the discard was absolutely too strong against this deck, especially if your opponent hits the Rebirth with Locomotiva, or I have to discard it if my opponent uses his Clamp. So I thought about playing Darkness. And there was a long time I didn't want to play Darkness, because if I play Darkness, the color combination is absolutely the same as Darksigner's Phobos control deck, which is definitely a tier 1 deck and very strong. So I played this version here on one of our real life meetings, and we talked about, so Halfa, Darksigner, Spalding, and me, we talked about this deck a bit, and I talked a lot with Spalding about playing Darkness, but I said to him, no, I don't want to play Darkness. But I thought about it a lot and pulled out some Darkness cards I might be playing here in this deck. Ignore cards like Essence Elf and Logic Cube, and of course this Mana Bonanza here. I think the combination is good, but in real life, if you play Mana Bonanza, the game is already over for your opponent. So Rebirth isn't very useful in turn 9 or 10 if you already have like 20 or 18 mana. And so please ignore the Camellia here. Never mind. So we have a lot of different cards here you already saw in different versions here. Volcano Charger, Bronze Tribe, Swap, Sky Sword, and so on. New cards are Ice Vapor. It's a nice card against control decks, because if your opponent plays a lot of spells, which he does in control decks, he has to discard a card from his hand and burn 1 mana card. So it's quite good, especially playing it with Rebirth. And Mongraman, is very powerful in combination with Rebirth. If you manage to play it in turn 5 and you can play Rebirth in turn 6, kill one of your opponent's creatures, so you draw a card and search for another creature and play it. So yeah, Mongrel is a quite interesting card in combination with Rebirth. And yeah, Terrorhorn und Pfahl, as you can see, also the split here. Corpse Charger as another mana ramp option. Rotus, of course, Locomotiver. Kill a 4-drop and get out Locomotiver and discard one of your opponent's cards in hand. Metzger as an equivalent to Hypersprint Warrior as a speed attacker. And of course, Terror Pit as the best spell to get rid of creatures. And of course, 4-drop Cranium Clamp. As you can see, some cards are missing, like Morbid Medicine and Lost Soul. And other cards I might be playing, but as you can see, this is not a deck. Those are, as I counted right, 64 cards. So this is just a pile I pulled out, thought about playing Darkness. And after that I thought about, why not? I should give it a try, playing a bit more Darkness to give this deck a bit more control-ish character. And after talking with Spalding a bit more about this deck type, I decided to make a deck out of it, playing 4-colored and give this more control-ish character. And as you can see, this is the final version I played in the IDC with a small with some small changes. As you can see, the light, fire, and nature cards are still the same. Belix, 1 Pyrofighter Magnus, Bronze Tribe, Soul Swap, Juliana. Again, here you can see the Rotus, 4 Volcano Charger, Macris, Sky Sword, and so on. So light, fire, nature cards are still the same. And those are 50 cards. So we have a bit more options playing Darkness, like Ghastly Drain. I think it's a very underrated card here, because in a control mirror, your opponent won't attack your shields. So you can Ghastly Drain it in turn 3 or 4 to get maybe 2 or 3 shields. It's like a stream, and if you're playing Sky Sword, you can recover your shields. So it's a good option, get back some shields. If you play against faster decks, just charge it. And of course, Morbid, in my opinion, the better option for Grave Recycle is Corpse Charger, because you can get back 2 creatures. And 1 Clamp, of course, Locomotive is another good 4-drop target for Rebirth. And here is a Meltdown, good card against aggro and rush decks, and in combination with the Pyrofighter Magnus, a good combination to end a game. 1 Burst Shot is hiding here underneath the Mecha Dragon's Breath, and of course 3 Terror Pit, and of course 2 Soul Swap. You can search for Lost Soul with Phobos, and or get it back from Mana Zone with Belix. So you definitely will win the Lost Soul race, playing 4 Bronze Tribe, 2 Volcano Charge, and 3 Sky Swords. So the race win is on your side, and of course the 3 Apoc, Bolmethius, and Berserker Seal. So this is the final version I put together before the IDC, and for the IDC I thought about the meta would be played is a bit more aggro cards or aggro decks, so I decided to change or make some changes in this deck. First of it is cut out the Rotos for a third Volcano Charger, which was definitely the good choice here because you need a ramp, you can kill a creature, or if you can't kill a creature in a mirror match, just use it as a Fairy Life. It's expensive Fairy Life, but you can use it as a Fairy Life. And definitely a good option here. This idea came from Darksigner, and thanks to him, because 3 Volcano Charger saved me a lot of times. I cut out 1 Locomotiva for a second clamp, and to have a 2-2 split here. So we only have actual 4 drops for Macris, for Rebirth. So I think it's a quite good split because we don't need that draw as fast as possible. And we have a lot of discard here as 2 Clamp, 2 Lost Soul, and 2 Loco. So the 2-2-2 split is quite okay here. And of course, the last change I did cut out this absolutely shitty Shield Blast, Shield Trigger here. Of course, some say this card is very powerful and good against rush decks. I think that's definitely right, but in my opinion, I really don't like Burst Shot. So I played a second APOC here, cut this Burst Shot out, and played a second APOC here, which was a good choice. Even I played against rush decks. I have 2 Belix, and of course those 3 Juliana saved me a lot of times, because if you play something like Rush, Fire Nature Rush, your opponent doesn't play any removal for this card, and in Rug Aggro you only have a Searing Wave or Scarlet Sky Terror to get rid of Juliana. So this blocker is very powerful in this deck, and even playing Soul Swap and Sky Swap to recover from shields is a good combination. So this is the last version I pulled together. This is my final version of 4-colored Rebirth Control deck. It's like a toolbox deck here, and I'm very happy with this version now. And it makes a lot of fun. And we have 12 light cards, we have 10 fire cards, 11 darkness cards, and 9 nature cards. All of them are monocolored, and 8 2-colored cards like Sky Sword, Meltdown, and Rebirth. So the ratio is quite good, the mana curve is okay. We have a lot of cheap cards here, like those 3 drops, 4 drops have we a lot, and some high cost cards on the bottom here. But I think the mana curve, the color curve is quite balanced here, and it's a good deck. I really like this. And so let me know in the comments below what you think about this deck, what you think about this deck type, playing Rebirth as the key card of a deck. And let me know in the comments. And if you like the deck type, deck profile, give it a like, and hope to see you in the next ITC tournament. And if you're interested in seeing this deck in action, please check out our latest videos about this, about the ITC tournament. And thanks for watching. Have a good day, stay healthy, and see you next time.